Thanks for the money, but no one wants a janitor in the wedding photos? My brother said this with a grin right after I'd paid for his entire wedding. I smiled, nodded, and walked out. The next morning, I canceled everything. Let me back up. I'm a janitor at Jefferson High School. My younger brother Alan is the golden child who somehow convinced me to fund his dream wedding. $8,000 for catering, $2,000 for the venue deposit when his fiance's family forgot their checkbook, another $1,000 for her backup dress. I worked double shifts for months, skipped my first vacation in 3 years. But family is family, right? The day of the wedding, I had to work an emergency flood cleanup. Sewage pipe burst. I rushed to the reception still in my work clothes because I didn't want to miss Alan's speech. So there I was in the corner, still smelling faintly of bleach, when Alan grabbed the mic for his toast. First, I want to thank my amazing brother, he announced to the 150 guests. Thanks for covering everything, bro. Real hero move. People turned to look at me. I smiled, uncomfortable, but he wasn't done. But let's be honest, he said, grinning wider. No one wants a janitor in the wedding photos. The room went dead silent. Then awkward, nervous laughter. His bride, Julia, hid behind her wine glass. A few cousins looked at their shoes. One of Alan's college buddies gave me a pitying glance and turned away. I just stood there in my blue uniform shirt and work boots, industrial soap still lingering on my sleeves. The silence stretched until it became unbearable. I laughed once and said, "You're absolutely right, Alan. That was it." I didn't throw my drink, didn't yell, didn't storm out dramatically. I just smiled at my little brother, turned around, and walked to the parking lot like nothing happened. But inside, something cracked, clean and quiet, the way you don't feel a paper cut until you see the blood. I sat in my car for 10 minutes, watching people dance through the reception hall windows. They looked like shadows against the fairy lights. I pulled out my phone, opened the catering confirmation email. $8,793.24. Non-refundable if canceled within 24 hours of the event. I was just in time. I hit cancel. $8,000 back in my account. Then I booked a one-way ticket to Costa Rica. My phone started buzzing around 6 p.m. Missed calls from everyone. The caterers never showed up. Tables sat empty. Guests were leaving hungry. Julia was crying in the bathroom. By 8 p.m., I had 47 missed calls. The texts started rolling in. Julia, Aiden, where are you? Do you know how humiliated we were? Mom, please tell me this is a misunderstanding. Dad, Aiden, call me now. And then from Alan, dude, you went too far. Like I said, no one wants a janitor in wedding photos. But this is pathetic. No apology, just more mockery. When Mom called the next morning, she was furious. Julia's family is livid, she snapped. They spent all that money and everyone went home hungry. Julia's family? I laughed bitterly. You mean the people who contributed $0 but left the entire bill to me? It was just a joke, honey. Maybe if you dressed better, that's when I knew. They weren't embarrassed by what Alan said. They were embarrassed by me. I hung up. Dad called an hour later. What were you thinking? We had people calling us all night. Dad, I said quietly. When Alan dropped out of college, who paid his tuition? When his car broke down, who bought him a new transmission? When you were behind on the mortgage, who covered 3 months of payments? Silence. I've always shown up. And not once has anyone thanked me without making me feel guilty for existing. You're being dramatic. No, Dad, I'm being done. A week later, I went to Alan's apartment, not to apologize, just to drop something off. He opened the door in basketball shorts, beer in hand. "Oh," he said, scratching his belly. "The ghost returns." I handed him a manila folder. "What's this?" "Every receipt from your wedding, catering, decorations, Julia's dress, the photographer deposit. You'll want to pay people this time." He flipped through the papers, his smirk fading. "You trying to prove you're the hero again?" "No," I said. "I'm proving I was the fool." Alan's face went pale as he did the math. 13,000 in receipts, no refunds. "How are we supposed to pay for all this?" he whispered. "Not my problem anymore," I said, turning to leave. "Wait," he called out. "What about the makeup reception?" "Julia's already sent invitations." I paused and smiled. Better make sure there are no janitors in those photos either. 3 months later, I got a letter from Julia asking me to find it in my heart to forgive and help pay for their makeup reception. I laughed until my sides hurt. Then I printed out a photo from my Costa Rican beach vacation and mailed it back with one line. "No janitors in this photo either." Alan texted me last week. We had to cancel everything. Happy now? I sent back a screenshot of my savings account. The $8,000 I got refunded plus interest. The message below read, "Janitors save money too."